Hey everybody, remember this movie Battle Los Angeles that was released on March 11th, 2011, the exact date of the Japan quake? And its tagline was, "There are patterns that cannot be explained. There are warnings that cannot be ignored in 2011. Nothing can prepare you for what's next." And many of us know that tagline was true. There were actually many unexplained patterns and seeming warnings that occurred in 2011 that were unexplained. And we covered some of those last month. And this whole thing seems to be warning about a coming asteroid impact, among other things. And there are several clips in this movie trailer, Battle Los Angeles, of meteorites hitting Santa Monica in the Los Angeles area and also Tokyo right here. And they actually say in the trailer that it's a cluster of meteors that is coming. And that ties into the predictions in the book of Revelation, which implies some of the meteorites will hit the sun and others will hit the earth. We've talked about that before. But this clip right here in the trailer actually shows a TV news clip that says meteor impact sites, and it shows 5 locations in New York, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Mexico, and Panama. And these 5 impact sites in the Battle Los Angeles trailer reminded me of the 5 strike zones on the Batman map. So there might be a connection there. I mean, we know that Hollywood has predicted the future many times in the past. If you don't know that, just Google Hollywood predictive programming. We know that's true. They seem to predict the future. Nobody knows how, but we also know the biblical predictions are coming true as well. And the biblical predictions indicate the asteroid will hit the Atlantic Ocean within a very specific 7-year period that is characterized by very specific political events, all of which we have seen occur exactly as predicted in recent years, except for one, the actual impact causing a tsunami that it says will occur or indicates will occur within that 7-year period. But the biblical texts also indicate that it's not just one impact in the ocean. It also indicates there's another major impact that will hit a land area, creating a huge pit that will cause dust and debris to darken the sky for 3 years. And it may actually be 5 impacts like these 2 movies seem to indicate right here. The first one down here, which is very close to the location depicted here in the Battle Los Angeles movie. We actually discussed this location right here last month. It seems to correspond to a Texas area that is on the hook of Texas near Sandy Point. We were talking about that a month before a meteorite hit that general area. So this location right here, that may actually represent that, because it's possible that the trajectory changed slightly since 2011. I don't know. I'm just pointing that out. But the second strike zone on this Batman map is up here, which on the Battle Los Angeles map would correspond to New York. And the third strike zone is this line right here, which may correspond to the Panama location, this long line right here. And then I also noticed that this triangle right here may represent Mexico. So that could be strike zone 4, because notice this circle right here in strike zone 4 is on this particular area of the triangle. And that is also the location of the impact site in the Battle Los Angeles map. It's in this location of where the triangle would be in Mexico. So I don't know. And then strike zone 5 and the Batman map right here would correspond to the Los Angeles area on the Battle Los Angeles map. So I don't know if that's what it represents, but the fact that both of these movies depict 5 strike zones or impact sites in the Americas, and the Bible also indicates the impact site is in the Americas as well, I don't know, that just seems unusually coincidental to me. And also, the biblical prediction of the asteroid impact is almost exactly what is depicted in the 1998 movie Deep Impact. And many parts of this movie depict real events that have occurred in recent years after it was released. This is a list of some of those events. We've looked at this before, but I've added a few things that have occurred recently. You might be aware of the Orion spacecraft that just launched today. It was delayed on Thursday, and it launched today, December 5th. And this occurred just 3 weeks after the first ever comet landing that occurred on November 12th. And both the comet landing and Project Orion are mentioned in the movie Deep Impact, along with all of these other things having to do with the coming asteroid impact that occurred in real life after the movie was released. So Project Orion is also mentioned in the movie, and in real life, the Orion project was designed to, quote, deflect an asteroid that could collide with Earth. And also in the movie, a spacecraft lands and drills on the comet in order to try to set off explosions that will deflect it. And in real life, the Rosetta spacecraft landed on a comet for the first time in history just last month, and it was drilling on the comet. So in the movie, the comet landing occurs just before the impact hits Earth. So it's just something I wanted to point out there. But the other element in this movie, Battle Los Angeles, or the trailer anyway, is that it depicts a great war starting immediately after the asteroid impact. And that's also what the biblical texts seem to predict. We've looked at this before. The biblical prediction is that there will be a great war that will break out after the asteroid hits. The Bible calls it the Great Tribulation and says it will last 3.5 years. And during that time, a whole third of the earth will be in darkness from the dust and debris, and the bodies of the dead will not even be buried during that time. And the Bible indicates that this will happen at the end of the 1260 years. And that when that asteroid hits at the end of that 1260-year period, that will cause the 3 years of darkness and 5 months of nuclear torment for a total of 3.5 years of tribulation. And the texts also indicate that this tribulation and asteroid strike event will occur during or after the holiday season. So if you want to know more about that and the actual scriptures and what it says, I go into extreme detail on that. There are links below this video that go into all of that. But the biblical texts also say that during this tribulation war, the people of earth will fight against God in heaven, the Elohim in heaven. And that seems to be what is depicted in the Battle Los Angeles movie, the asteroid impact followed by immediate war, except they're going to war with something that they can't really see. It's not really clear what exactly they're fighting against, except that it's something it's this unseen thing that they're fighting against. And actually, this scene right here could be a depiction of Revelation 9, which talks about the locusts coming out of the smoke. We've looked at that before, how locusts actually resemble modern-day helicopters or drones. And that seems to be what St. John saw. He just didn't know what they were 2,000 years ago. But the basic timeline of events, the asteroid impact followed by war, is what the movie depicts, and that's also what the biblical predictions are. But the Battle Los Angeles trailer also alludes to 3 other events. It alludes to this Buenos Aires 1965 thing, something in Seoul, South Korea, 1983, and also in London, 1991. And then right after that, it shows this very quick snapshot that most people miss because it flips by in less than a second. And it's not clear what this is, but my first thought is that it looks like an X-ray of some kind, and it reminded me of some of the implant pictures I've seen, people who end up having these objects removed from their bodies and they don't know how they got there. So this might actually be alluding to what some people call alien abduction. And then the next thing they show in the trailer is these craft in the sky that seem like maybe they're extraterrestrial craft, and this billboard in the background saying watch, watch, or at least that's what it looks like it's saying. So I did a quick search to see what I could find for these 3 events that it mentions. And the Buenos Aires 1965 thing may refer to this UFO sighting on January 12th, 1965. It says strange disc-shaped objects visible on the moon that were photographed at the Adhara Observatory in San Miguel, Buenos Aires. So that may be what it's referring to there, a UFO sighting. And this London 1991 clip that's taking place at an airport, that also seems to refer to another UFO incident that this USA Today article mentions. It says, in April of 1991, a pilot saw an unidentified object at a London airport that he thought was a missile, but investigations ruled that out. And there was also another sighting in June of 1991 at another London airport by 4 passengers on a 737. And then there was another one after that in July that was confirmed by the airport by radar. So I guess the investigations did not determine what the object was. So those first 2 events seem to refer to UFO sightings, but the only thing I could find out about the Seoul, South Korea thing, 1983, was this Korean Airlines that was shot down by Russia in September 1983. It was en route from Anchorage, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea when it was shot down, and all 269 passengers and crew were killed. And this reminded me of the Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 that was shot down in Ukraine this past July. So it seems like this trailer is implying that the missing airlines and planes being shot down has something to do with extraterrestrial craft and contactees. So if there's a secret war going on right now between extraterrestrials, it seems like it would explain a lot. And the book of Daniel actually indicates that there are non-humans living among us right now. That's something we've discussed before as well. I think some of the links are below. And some are talking about how disclosure is coming. And there's this political lobbyist in Washington right here who said recently that disclosure may occur in February 2015. And in this speech, he was also talking about an asteroid impact. And it was not really clear what his point was exactly in reference to that. But I'll leave the link below if you want to hear what he said. But the biblical texts indicate that a multitude of people, a huge multitude that cannot be counted of people, humans, will be rescued at the time of the asteroid impact and taken to a safe place off planet. And immediately at that time, a great war will start on the earth that will include fighting against God and blaspheming those who were rescued and taken to the safe place off planet. I mean, I know it's hard to believe, I know, but there are already things occurring that have been proven true that are also hard to believe, even though they've been proven true. And some of these things here that were predicted by the texts before they occurred, I mean, these things are hard to believe as well, but they've also been proven true. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there for you, something to think about. If you want to know any more about this subject, or you want to see some of what we've talked about in this, just click on show more below this video, and I will put down, I'll put some of the UFO stuff down there as well, but there's just a ton of links below this video. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.